Hello, I'm Congressman Brad Sherman from California's best named city, Sherman Oaks. It's a pleasure to be with you today, with the Korean American community, with my friend Casey Choi of the Korean American Public Action Committee. We are here to reintroduce the Peace on the Korean Peninsula Act. This bill is designed to end the formal state of war with the North Korean government. Now, let us focus on what this bill doesn't do. It said, its critics will say that it somehow undermines the legal basis for our presence of troops in South Korea. Nothing could be further from the truth. We are not in a formal state of war with any country in Europe, and yet since World War II we have maintained many military bases there. It is not a requirement for the deployment of our troops, particularly in a friendly area, to have a ongoing state of war. And when Eisenhower ended this war in 1953, he certainly did not imagine that there wouldn't be the same kind of peace treaty that he saw at the conclusion of World War II. This bill is not a concession to the North Korean government, any more than our signature in 1953 was a concession. It is a mutual step toward peace. First in 1953 to the cessation of military conflict, and now, hopefully, in 2025 to the formal state of war. This bill is designed to push us in a confidence-building measure because we have to start with the first step. This bill is not a solution to all the conflicts that we have with the North Korean regime. It simply changes the atmosphere a little bit and would hopefully be the first step toward a solution. We are gathered here today on several near exact anniversaries. It was on February 25th, 1999, that we saw the launch of former South Korean President Kim Dae-jung's Sunshine Policy. It was on February 27th, 2018, that we saw the 6th anniversary, and then what we now have the 6th anniversary of the Hanoi summit between President Trump and Trump. This bill we first introduced 4 years ago. We introduced it in the last Congress, and we got up to 52 co-sponsors eventually. Today we are reintroducing this bill with 33 other members of Congress joining us in introducing the bill, and I'm sure that we will have well over 52 co-sponsors. But the next step is for this bill to be considered, hopefully, by the Foreign Affairs Committee. And most importantly, it is time, this bill is not necessary for the Trump administration to implement the bill. The Trump administration can and should begin talks with North Korea to end the state of war that has been ongoing since 1953. We signed that armistice then. We should sign a peace treaty now. Now, we've seen some real difficulties with North Korea. Its bellicose rhetoric, its missile development, and of course its nuclear program. That's why we should move forward in an effort to make peace. You don't make peace with your friends. They're already your friends. You make peace with your enemies. You don't make peace with people who are filled with love. They're already your friends. You make peace with those who are problematic. And that is a step that is the road we should take, and this bill is the first step. Now, the bill also deals with the issue that's important to 100,000 Korean Americans, and that is family unification visits, so that people who have been separated in some cases for 7 decades can see their family members one last time. Now, it is the North Korean government that has not allowed these family unification visits, but our government should make it plain that if you're allowed to have a family unification visit, you will get the use of your American passport to do that. And I would also call on both governments, if they're unwilling to have in-person visits, to at least have video visits. But we need in-person visits, and both governments should cooperate. So we have today two of the people who are joining with me in introducing this bill. The first is my friend. What's interesting here is I did not grow up in my district. I grew up in Judy Chu's district, and then I grew up in David Min's district, where I graduated high school. So the woman who introduces my original, it represents my original hometown, but more importantly, for many, many years, led the other KPAC. Yeah. In this case, the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus, my friend Judy Chu.
Way to go, Judy Chu!
Well, thank you so much. I'm Congressmember Judy Chu from California's 28th District, and I want to thank Congressmember Brad Sherman for leading this effort. And I'm honored to be here with so many grassroots activists and leaders from across the country to call for an end to the Korean War. Since July of 1953, the Korean War Armistice Agreement put an end to 3 years of horrific fighting, but it did not put an end to the war. Even today, more than 7 decades after the violence has ended, the Korean Peninsula and the Korean people remain divided. But we are here today because we know we can still achieve peace. That's why I'm proud to commemorate this anniversary to mark 72 years of the U.S.-South Korea alliance and to reaffirm my support for this bill to finally achieve permanent peace on the Korean Peninsula. As a member of Congress, I've had the chance to visit the demilitarized zone and see firsthand the lasting divisions and tensions. But I also saw instances of cooperation and people's hope for a better future. And I will never forget when I was chair of the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus, and we held a congressional forum on North Korea and the Korean American community. I will never forget hearing the powerful testimony from an 86-year-old woman named Sung-Bak Kim, who was just a girl when she fled her home during the Korean War. At that time, she expected to be spending just a few months away, but that turned into decades away from her family. In tears, she told our forum that her dying wish is to be reunited with her family before time runs out. But every year that passes without a permanent peace means that time does run out for so many families, but they have not given hope of being reunited, and it's up to us to stand with them. That's why every Congress, I am proud to join Congressmember Brad Sherman as an original co-sponsor of the Peace on the Korean Peninsula Act. This legislation will bring us closer to a lasting peace by calling for a formal end to the Korean War and promoting diplomacy as a way of establishing a relationship between the U.S. and North Korea. It also recognizes the tens of thousands of Americans who have relatives in North Korea by calling on the State Department to study possible avenues for them to see their families again, even if it's just for special occasions. All these efforts drive our ultimate goal of lasting peace and reunification, both on the peninsula and for millions of families in the U.S. and around the world. And none of this would be possible without advocates like those who are here today. Thank you for your leadership. I am honored to be your partner in the work to finally achieve a permanent peace.
Thank you!
Should point out that what binds the American people and the people of South Korea is our dedication to democracy, Both countries have had a few difficulties, but have prevailed in maintaining their democracy. I congratulate the people of South Korea for maintaining their democracy, and of course on January 6th of 2021, the building behind me was also under siege. I mention that democracy because the concept behind this bill has strong support in the Korean Parliament. It has received the support of a majority of that Parliament, and I look forward to working with the administration and with all of our allies around the world to go on a multi-step process to bring peace to the Korean Peninsula. With that, I want to introduce my friend, a man who's just joined us in Congress but is certainly not new to these issues, a leader in the Korean American community, David Min.
Hi, David! David!
안녕하세요. My name is Dave Min, and I was just elected to represent the 47th Congressional District in California. And I am the first Korean American to ever represent the city of Irvine, which, if you come down, is a Korean American hub. We have great food. Some say we have better Korean culture than LA, but they'd probably dispute that. But I want to thank my friend, Congressman Brad Sherman, for bringing this bill forward. Look, my parents moved out here in 1970. They grew up during the Korean War. When I was growing up, nobody knew what Korea was here in the United States. They didn't know what Korean Americans were, certainly had no appreciation for Korean pop culture, which is obviously not the case today. And so I came to this body from the California State Senate, where over the last few years I got to introduce my own landmark bills, including a resolution commemorating the 70th anniversary of the alliance between the United States and the Republic of Korea. I also got to introduce a resolution celebrating Kimchi Day, which, believe it or not, was very, very popular. But look, Korea has grown so much as a country over my lifetime. We are long past 1953. It is long overdue that we establish peace and maybe eventually, hopefully, reunification in my lifetime. This is a war and conflict that has split families apart, brothers and sisters, mothers and daughters, and it is long past due that we unite our families, we unite our people, because we know the Hanin, or Korean people, they're one. That what we've seen, the schism between North and South Korea, is not a natural one. And we need to start taking those steps, and it's a very reasonable first step to declare an end to the war that really ended over 70 years back. So I want to thank again Brad Sherman, my colleague, who's an amazing leader, Congresswoman Judy Chu, and all the other co-sponsors. And while I'm new, I will do everything I can to try to make sure this bill moves forward. 감사합니다.
Way to go, David Min!
And now a man who was just in Korea until a couple weeks ago, conferring with leaders about the importance of taking steps toward peace, my friend Casey Choi of the Korean American Public Action Committee, the other KPAC.
Okay, Casey Choi! Casey Choi! Casey Choi! Casey Choi! Casey Choi! Way to go!
As Congressman Brad Sherman said, yesterday was the 26th anniversary of former Republic of Korea President Kim Dae-jung's Sunshine Policy. And tomorrow is the 6th anniversary of Hanoi Summit between President Trump and Chairman Kim Jong-un. You know what? This year marks 70 years of division, and 75 years of Korean War, and 72 years of Armistice Agreement. Because of this long-lasting division, the entire Korean people, no matter where they live, in South, North, or overseas, they have tons of pains and sufferings and heavy burden on their shoulder. Korea discount. All of the internal ideological conflict, even in South Korea, even in Korean American community, stems from this division, ongoing war. We should finish, we should stop, we should end this conflict and confrontation. thanks to the tremendous effort from my dear friend, my uncle, Congressman Brad Sherman,
Brad Sherman, Brad Sherman, Jimmy Chu, Brad Sherman, David Min,
and Andy Kim. There are so many. So I believe we have more and more support from the Congress member because this is right. We should protect any possible war. Today, I really want to be remembered the beginning date of new era of permanent peace on the Korean Peninsula.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I want to emphasize that while only 3 of us who are introducing the bill today are able to be here at this press conference, we have 33 people who are joining us, 33 members of Congress, and it is bipartisan, both Democrats and Republicans. With that, why don't I open up for questions, not only for myself, but our other presenters here.
Any question? Yeah.
Go ahead. I've been in Congress now, this is my 29th year, and I used to be able to predict the future at least 6 months out, a year out. We now have a different kind of president, and anyone who thinks you can predict American policy, let alone predict the North Korean response to that policy, I would have to say the answer to your question is I am completely agnostic. I can't tell you I'm optimistic. I'm always optimistic because that's how you should live life. But whether I have any particular reason for optimism or pessimism, this is an unpredictable year. We have answered every question.
Hey, very good.
Oh, go ahead.
My question is very simple. Could be a similar question that what is the possibility of this bill to be passed in this period?
We have 2 years to pass this bill, but the bill is designed to push the administration in a particular direction. So what matters most is not whether we push, but whether they go forward. I think that with as many co-sponsors as we have a good chance of being able to pass this legislation. It could be passed as a single bill. It might also be passed as an amendment to our National Defense Authorization Bill. So there are 2 different avenues there. That being said, what matters most is whether the administration will listen to 33 members of Congress so far, and we will have far more, advising them that now is the time to take that step to end the war of 1953 as the first step of ending the conflict that exists today in 2025. Okay, now we're done.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I say, what do we want? You say Korean peace. And when do we want? You can say right now. What do we want?
Korean peace!
One more time. What do we want?
Korean peace!
When do we want?
Right now!
When do we want?
Right now!
That was actually very good practice. Now we're going to do real. We're going to do 3 times in a row.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes!
What do we want?
Korean peace!
When do we want it?
Right now!
Louder! What do we want?
Korean peace!
When do we want it?
Right now!
What do we want?
Korean peace!
When do we want it?
Right now!
Now we're gonna sing a song. There's one song that Korean people has to sing in every peace march and peace rally. It's called "Our Hope is Reunification and Peace." Okay, today we're gonna sing as peace song, right?
Yeah.
So 우리의 소원은 평화. 불러주세요.